I want to start today by giving you two numbers, just two simple numbers to hold in your head. The first number is 32,000.
Okay.
That is the number of medical research studies that exist right now, focusing on male erectile dysfunction.
Right. An issue that affects men, but mostly in a very minor, non-life-threatening way.
Exactly. So 32,000 studies for that. Now, the second number is 14,000. That is the total number of studies for low milk supply.
Wow. And, well, that second number is for an issue affecting a massive portion of the 130 million women who give birth every single year around the world.
Yeah. It's crazy. Medicine has spent more than double the time and money studying a male problem compared to a fundamental human health issue.
It really sets the stage for what we're talking about today.
It does. Welcome to today's deep dive, everyone. Today's mission is to unpack a brilliant piece from The Economist about a massive blind spot in global medicine, the complete lack of lactologists.
Basically, doctors who specialize in breast milk.
Right. Simply put, they just don't exist. But, and I want to be clear, this is not just a deep dive into science. We're really looking at how our society views women's bodies.
Exactly. It's about the hidden crisis in maternal health that happens when the medical world just, well, decides to look the other way.
So let's jump right in. To really understand this blind spot, we have to look at how neatly sorted the modern medical world is. I mean, it is highly organized.
Right. Everything has its place.
Yeah. If you have a problem with your heart, you go to a cardiology doctor. If you have a problem with your brain, you go to a neurology doctor.
Many even have urology doctors for their specific reproductive parts.
Exactly. Every part of the body has its own special autology, its own dedicated field of study, except the mammary glands.
The parts of a woman's body that make milk.
Right. For those, there is nothing. There is no official medical field called lactology. It simply does not exist.
Which is so strange when you consider that half of the humans on Earth have these glands.
Yeah, and the other half of humanity completely relies on them to survive those crucial first months of life.
Exactly. Yet science has largely ignored the body's milk-making system.
Okay, so I want to look at this from a layman's perspective. The article points out that 40% of mothers who try to breastfeed run into major problems.
That's a huge number, almost half.
Right. They face really bad physical pain, or they just cannot produce enough milk. So think about buying a new car.
Okay.
If millions of people bought a car, and 40% of the time the engine just broke down, wouldn't we immediately train mechanics specifically to fix that exact engine?
You would think so, yes.
So why hasn't medicine trained doctors for this 40% failure rate in breastfeeding?
Well, the answer comes down to one powerful word: natural.
Natural.
Yeah. The medical world has this long-held assumption that because breastfeeding is a natural process, it must automatically be easy.
Oh, I see.
They assume the human body will simply know what to do without any help.
But, I mean, just because something is natural does not mean it is perfectly safe or that it works every time.
Far from it. Let's look at a direct comparison from our sources. Giving birth is also a completely natural process.
Right. Women have been delivering babies forever.
Exactly. But nobody in the medical field thinks baby delivery doctors, obstetricians are useless.
No, of course not. We know birth can go wrong, so we have highly trained doctors ready in the delivery room.
Right. But for some reason, the moment the baby is born and the feeding process begins, the medical doctors just step back.
They just leave the room.
Basically, yeah. Medicine essentially abandons this entire biological function.
Wow. But someone has to help these mothers, right?
Right. Because actual medical doctors leave this gap, non-doctors have had to step in. These are usually people called lactation consultants.
Okay, and to be fair, these consultants are trying their best. They are very caring people who want to help.
Oh, they absolutely are. But here is the major problem. Because there are so few real, hard scientific studies available, these consultants often have to rely on simple hunches.
Ah, because the research just isn't there.
Exactly. They do not have the strong medical research they need to give perfect advice. They are trying to fix a complex machine without the instruction manual.
So what this means in real life is when a mother has a problem, the treatment options are pretty grim.
Very grim.
The sources show that in parts of Europe, between 20 and 40% of newborn babies are simply given powdered formula before they even leave the hospital.
Yeah. The hospital staff sees a mother struggling, and instead of providing deep medical analysis to fix the root cause, they just hand her a bottle of formula to make the problem go away quickly.
Or if the mother really wants to keep trying, she is given the standard advice. Just strap yourself to a breast pump machine 8 times a day and your body will figure it out.
Which is an incredibly brutal thing to ask of a new mother.
Yeah.
I mean, she is already recovering from the physical trauma of giving birth.
Right. And this brings up a question I hear all the time. People often say that almost all women can produce enough milk if they just put in the effort.
Right, the just try harder myth.
Yeah. I've heard it is incredibly rare to actually have a biological milk shortage. So shouldn't these mothers just try harder?
We need to completely destroy that myth right now.
Okay, let's do it.
For decades, doctors just guessed, without real data, mind you, that less than 5% of mothers had a true biological low milk supply.
Less than 5%.
That's what they guessed. And because they believed that number was so low, they told the other 95% of women to just push through the pain.
Wow. But what does the actual research say?
Well, recent research finally looked at the hard data, and it proves that the true number is much higher. It is actually between 10% and 20%.
Wait, really? Up to 20%?
Yes, up to 1 in 5 women physically cannot make enough milk no matter how hard they try.
Oh, wow. So it's not a lack of effort at all.
Not at all. The reason behind this is tied to complex biology. We are talking about genetics, we are talking about deep medical conditions like obesity, diabetes, and autoimmune disorders.
Okay, I want to break down how those conditions actually stop the milk. Because it is not just magic. How does something like diabetes prevent a mother from feeding her baby?
So basically, think of the mother's mammary gland as a factory that produces food.
Okay, a factory.
During pregnancy, the body is supposed to build this factory and install all the wiring. But to do that, the cells need energy. Insulin is the key that unlocks the cells to let energy in.
Oh, I see. So if a mother has diabetes or insulin resistance...
Her body does not process insulin correctly. The key does not turn. The cells do not get the energy they need during pregnancy.
So the factory never gets fully built.
Exactly.
Wow, that makes the just try harder advice sound terrible.
It is terrible.
Yeah.
If the factory is missing its machinery, telling a mother to pump 8 times a day is like shouting at a broken factory to produce more goods.
It's useless. And it causes physical pain and massive emotional damage.
Exactly. You cannot cure diabetes with willpower. You cannot fix an autoimmune disorder by pumping more.
It's like if someone has a broken leg, we would never tell them to just try harder to walk.
That is a perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
Yet this is the exact approach medicine takes with breastfeeding mothers.
Because they were completely ignoring the root problem.
Yes.
Okay, so we see the biological reality now, but we need to move to the real-world consequences. Why does this lack of science matter to society as a whole?
Well, the stakes are actually life and death.
Right. We are not just talking about a small inconvenience for parents. Our sources pull from a very respected medical journal called The Lancet. They published a study showing that if all babies were breastfed, 823,000 deaths of children under 5 years old could be prevented every single year.
Over 800,000 children.
Yeah.
That number is just shocking.
It is, and the mechanism behind this is important. When mothers cannot produce milk, the only alternative is infant formula. Now, in modern cities, that is fine.
Right.
But in poorer countries, infant formula can be deadly. And the powder itself is not the problem, the water is.
Exactly. Formula has to be mixed with water. And in many developing areas, the local water supply contains dangerous bacteria and diseases.
Right, so the babies drink the formula mixed with this unsafe water, and they get terribly sick.
With severe infections.
Yes. So in those parts of the world, helping mothers produce their own breast milk is not just a nice lifestyle choice.
No, it is a biological shield against deadly infections. It literally saves lives.
Okay, so that's the situation in developing areas.
Yeah.
But what about modern working women?
Yeah, that's a completely different problem. Mothers in modern industrialized cities are battling a lack of time and space.
Let's look at that. The sources give us a very specific look at the situation in China. What happens when these women have to go back to the office while still trying to provide milk?
Well, because the medical field offers so little support, these mothers are forced to manage this biological process entirely on their own, usually in highly stressful environments.
Right. In China, there's a massive phenomenon of what they call pumping moms.
Yes. These are female office workers trying to pump milk during their busy workdays.
But the workplaces are not designed for this at all. There is a severe lack of nursing rooms in these office buildings.
Imagine trying to do this very personal and often physically uncomfortable medical task, but your office does not even provide a private clean room.
So what do? They are forced to hide in public bathrooms or find an empty supply closet.
Exactly, and that environment creates massive stress. And here is where the biology works against them again.
How so?
When a mother is stressed, her body releases hormones like adrenaline and cortisol.
Oh, which triggers the fight or flight response.
Yes. And those stress hormones physically block another hormone called oxytocin.
What does oxytocin do?
Oxytocin is like the delivery truck. It pushes the milk out of the factory. So a mother might have milk in her body, but because she is stressed about hiding in a bathroom, the milk physically cannot leave her body.
Wow. It is a terrible, punishing cycle. She stresses because she cannot pump, and she cannot pump because she is stressed.
Exactly. And meanwhile, sitting right next to this struggle is the massive infant formula industry.
Right, a highly profitable global business. In China alone, the demand for powdered formula is huge.
And when there are billions of dollars to be made by selling an alternative, it can actively interfere with the promotion of natural breastfeeding.
Oh, because the companies selling the formula have massive marketing budgets.
Right. They have power and money. On the other side, the medical support for the mothers is weak and unfunded. It is an extremely uneven fight.
But the sources point out it does not have to be this way. Other countries have found a better balance.
Yes, definitely. Places like Denmark and the United Kingdom have active labor policies.
So what do they do differently?
Their governments step in and create strict rules. They force companies to support mothers in the workplace, giving them guaranteed time and safe, clean spaces to pump milk.
So they treat it as a public health priority, not just a personal burden.
Exactly.
Okay, so the solution is twofold. We need the medical doctors to step up and provide real, hard science.
Yes.
And we need governments and employers to step up and provide the physical space and time.
Simply put, we need a complete shift in how society supports the entire process of early motherhood.
Yeah. As we pull all of these pieces together, the biology, the global death toll, the workplace struggles, I want to focus on the emotional bottom line.
It's so important.
What happens to the human being at the center of all this?
The emotional weight is perhaps the heaviest part of the entire crisis.
Because when a mother tries to feed her baby and fails because her body has a medical condition that no doctor bothered to diagnose, she is blamed.
Yes, society points the finger right at her.
She is told that she gave up too easily, or that she cared more about her career than her child.
Which is just awful. She goes to sleep feeling immense guilt. She takes this massive medical failure and believes it is her own personal failure. She believes she is a bad mother.
Which brings us to the core truth of this entire deep dive.
Right. If you take away anything today, let it be this. These women have not failed their children. Medicine has failed them.
Let's just sit with that for a moment.
Yeah.
Medicine, a field that studies the tiniest blood vessels in the human eye and spends billions fixing minor male issues, just forgot to study the exact biological process that keeps human babies alive.
They turned a blind eye. And until universities start funding real research, until we have actual lactologists in hospitals, millions of women will continue to pay the price in pain and guilt.
This has been a heavy topic, but an incredibly important one. Thank you for taking the time to join us on this deep dive today. We hope this helped shine a light on a massive blind spot in our world.
It really changes how you look at the medical system, doesn't it?
It really does. And before you go, we want to leave you with one final thought to ponder on your own. We spent today talking about how modern medicine has neglected human breast milk, something so fundamental to our survival. If the medical world is ignoring something that massive simply because they assume women's bodies should naturally handle it, what other natural female health issues are we currently ignoring?
That is a great question.
What other pain are we just hoping women will suffer through in silence? Think about that, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.